Hello and welcome to Thrive, a wellbeing podcast for the students of Alexandra College.
Hello and welcome to Alex Junior School podcast. This episode is called Friendship. Now I will invite Zoe onto the podcast.
Thanks, Leila. Today I will be talking about friendship. A lot of people have difficulty in their friendship and have trouble communicating with their friends. They might feel anxious and stressed because they feel they have to be cool and popular to keep their friends.
I agree, Zoe, because sometimes you feel like you have to change yourself to feel accepted by certain people that you might consider cool.
Exactly, Leila. Here's an example. Say if two people were friends, but one of them likes Peppa Pig and the other likes Mean Girls. They work out their differences and make it work until someone else comes along. That person likes Mean Girls too and arrives in their group and leaves the other person out.
Great point, Zoe. No one wants to be in that situation. Now I will invite Emmy onto the podcast.
Thanks, Leila. Hi, everyone. Today I'll be talking about excluding. Excluding is where, say for example, two of your friends go off and leave you out. Maybe they are getting matching pencil cases or water bottles and hanging out together in Europe without you and not telling you secrets that are important. Now let me tell you some advice on how to fix these problems. First, the best thing to do is tell a parent, teacher or guardian your problem and let your feelings out. And when you get a chance to speak to the person who is excluding you, tell them how you feel.
That's a great idea, Emmy. But what if the person kept on ignoring you even after you told them about your problems?
Well, Leila, that is a great question. Well, if that does happen, here's how to deal with it. Give the person some space, and in the meantime, go and find some new friends to hang out with, so you're not alone. And if that doesn't work, sometimes you can't fix those problems.
Amazing advice, Emmy. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Now I will give you back to Zoe for a bit.
Thanks again, Leila. Emmy's right. If someone keeps leaving you out after everything, then maybe it's time to move on.
Everyone's points are very valid, but what if you have anxiety? Times will be tougher and things will be harder. I'm going to pass you on to Kayla.
Hi, I'm Kayla and I'm going to be talking a bit about anxiety. Anxiety is when sometimes you'll feel a bit overwhelmed and anxious about different situations. So sometimes when I'm feeling really anxious, I go outside the classroom. For example, I have a little timer on my desk for 40 minutes and I go outside for 5 minutes just to take a little break from all the people in there. And I have a box full of fidgets and stuff that'll help me.
Are your friendships different now?
Well, most of my friendships are the same, but some people find it a bit strange how I feel and how I act, so they kind of almost use it against me, and they're like, well, you kind of act like this, so what's that going on there?
You know, I think in my opinion, if anyone who is listening to this has anxiety, if your friends treat you differently, they don't deserve you.
Yeah, that was actually really nice. Thanks, Leah.
Why do you think exclusion happens in friendships?
Well, exclusion is a common thing in friendship when someone leaves someone out. Maybe they don't realise it, or maybe they're a bit different to that person and think that they're strange, which isn't very nice.
So, Emmy, with your experience in excluding, how did it happen and how did it make you feel and how could you how did you deal with it?
So I'm in a group with a trio and two people in my group have left me out a lot and they've gone off getting matching things and have been in their life and have left me. So the reason how I deal with that is I go off to someone else and I say, can I play with you today? Can I hang out with you? And make new people to hang out with if they're not hanging out with me.
When that happens, do you go to a particular person or do you switch around people?
I sort of switch around people. I kind of go to friends that I know will be nice to me and I know they won't leave me out and they'll talk to me about it. And other times I'll go to a particular person, but mostly I don't.
Do you have any tips on how to avoid that happening?
Kind of. As in, if you're getting left out, you should probably definitely say it to them and say, can you please try and not to do this? Or you should either tell teacher, parent or someone how you're feeling. And then once you get the chance, maybe you should go up to them, ask, can you hang out with me today? Can you try not to exclude? And if that doesn't work, I'd go and hang out with someone else and give them some space. And then once you think they're ready, you should go up and ask them.
Some of the best advice I've ever been given was from my sister, because a while ago I was kind of in a weird time, I guess. And some of the best advice she ever gave me was that trios don't work.
Yeah.
And you should always branch out and like try and make new friends, especially when you're in the senior school, because it's just like a fresh slate and it's like everyone gets a new start. And something that I've also noticed is that no matter what happens in the senior school, you will always have a friend.
Yeah, tipping towards the trios. If you're someone if you just join someone who was recently a duo or something, I feel like that person is always going to know the other person better, and they're always going to be like leaving you out no matter how hard you try to be with them. They'll just go off and do their own thing, and sometimes you just have to accept that maybe it's time to make some new friends and get along with some other people.
Yeah, I agree with Kayla. I think it's important that you need to make new friends because sometimes people might leave the school and your friends might like leave the school and you'll be on your own. It's important you have a wide diversity of friends so you have like lots of people to play with.
And lots of support.
Would you guys rather have one really close friend or like lots of friends but you're not super close to
Like
them?
frenemies, you mean?
Yeah, frenemies, I guess, then, Leela.
Well, it kind of depends because I need someone who supports me, and if that one person is and the group doesn't support me, they just like hang around but they don't really like me, then I don't really want to be with that big gang.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I would rather have one like really close friend that I can trust with absolutely everything, anything, and tell them all about, than have loads of other friends that I don't really feel comfortable telling about them, about how I feel about stuff.
I agree, Kayla. I've had that problems. I've told people things and they've told others and I've told them not to. So I've stuck to this one friend that I've told them everything and it's worked for me. So
Like,
Yeah,
it's better to
yeah.
have a better relationship with your friend inside of you than like your friend outside. I don't know. Or like people.
It's also important to like love yourself and appreciate yourself and like don't always say, "Oh, why am I so ugly?" and stuff.
Because you're not.
Be
Like,
nice to yourself.
Everyone's
Body
like,
positivity, guys.
yeah, Leela, you go, girl.
yeah, I have some advice for the younger kids. I think if you're young, you should always stick to your class because when you're young, you don't really know what's going on with the world yet. So you're kind of just, hanging out, doing your own thing. And then when you become older, you kind of realize and you kind of sometimes lose your friends when you get older because everyone starts changing. So I think when you're younger, when you're going into like the second class or something, you should try and keep your friends and stuff.
And something I've noticed is that kids don't see pretty and ugly. They don't see races. If someone is black, they wouldn't be like, oh, okay. They would just accept them for who they am, and they'd say that they're a pretty person because they are. It doesn't matter like what religion you are. It's like everyone deserves friends.
That's like pretty real, Leela. But also towards Emmy's thing, when like you grow up, it's also important to make sure that you have different varieties of friend groups and different friends, because say for example you're in what's it called, J1 for us, and you have say Zoe, Leela and Alina were my friends, and say they went in the other class when you're in J2 and they're all in the other class and they all become like really good friends and I don't really have anyone. But say if I had Emmy, Alina, Leela and Zoe, then maybe Emmy would be in my class as well, so then I'd actually have someone to hang out with.
And for younger people who are listening to this right now, if you're like in KG low or something and you really want to play with someone, you can ask them, can you play with them, and maybe ask if they want to share something with you.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to ask either. Like, if someone like says no, then that's like mean.
Yeah,
If you do that, then like just don't, because like you never really know what's going
Just,
on
like,
in
walk
someone's head.
away.
problem.
And
Yeah.
don't doubt yourself because who you are is who you are for the rest of your life.
Yeah, your voice is more important than others' voices.
And it doesn't really matter what you look like. You don't have to be the most beautiful person in the world to be really kind.
I think like sometimes in movies a lot, it's like the kind of ugliest person has like the prettiest heart.
Because it's what's on the inside, not the outside.
Well, everyone is super pretty, so like no one is
Yes.
ugly.
Yeah, that's
Like-
still nice.
Yeah. If you're really pretty, but you don't really have a nice heart and you kind of say to people, oh yeah, you're fat, you're ugly, you're annoying, then it doesn't really matter what you look like, because you're not going to have much friends if you call people like fat, ugly and annoying. And those words aren't very nice. Like, if you say that to someone, then they're obviously not going to be your friend anymore. But if you're really, if you have a really kind heart and you tell people, oh yeah, Leela, your hair looks really nice today. Zoe, your eyes are really nice. Alina, I love your bangs. Emmy, I love your lashes, they're so long. Then obviously you're going to make more friends than you're going to lose them.
I agree, Kayla.
People said really nice things, and my heart was just over here like, oh. So,
Like fluttering.
like, I just kind of love, like, what everyone said, and it just, like, really makes you think. So,
It really makes you think about how other people feel and how you should treat yourself. So,
yeah. So,
Thank you for listening to our podcast.
Hope you enjoyed.
bye.
Bye.